it's one of those things most of us grew up with and most of us hated. And just the word itself, homework, tends to bring up this experience of boredom and resistance. And I don't want to, I don't feel like it. Do I have to? Why do I have to? I don't want to have to do this. And unfortunately, that tends to interfere with people who sign up for the Destiny iProcess courses, in the sense that every lesson has a practical assignment where essentially, you're taking the information from the lessons, all the explanations, all the perspectives about a given topic, and now you actually start working with it. You start using it to investigate yourself. How do you live out these specific patterns? How does your mind work? How do your emotions operate, and when do they tend to come up, and how can you work with them? And because it's in the form of an assignment, where it's a piece of paper or a sheet on the computer and there's questions and you have to answer them, because it looks similar, your mind tends to work with memory to determine how to make you feel about something. And in terms of assignments in the Destiny iProcess, it looks very similar to homework. You're taught things in school, and you have to sit and listen to the teacher, and then you have to go home and you have to fill out these worksheets or these pages in the book, and there's questions and you have to answer them. And you sit by yourself and you have to focus and somehow find the discipline to do this. And because it looks similar, what our minds tend to do is just bring up all your experiences of what you felt during school, when having to do homework, sitting there, all the resistance, all the dread, and brings it up and says, wait, are you doing homework again? Is someone asking you to do homework? Oh, here, this is who you are in relation to homework. Go and live this. Go and feel like this. Yeah. Okay, we're good. She's in homework mode, or he's in homework mode. Okay. So yeah, it's an experience that's rather common, and a lot of students work with, where it's like they read the lesson and they understand and they see it and it's interesting, and then it's like, okay, now work on your assignment, and it's like, did you work on your assignment? Well, why not? So one thing that for me, and also that I tell my trainees, the people that I work with in the course, one thing I found very supportive is making it clear to myself what the difference is. Because when it comes to school and homework, you were, in a way, you were forced to go there. You didn't really have a say. Whether this was an interest to you or not, you had to listen to the material, you had to listen to the teacher, and you had to go home and do your homework. Or, there would be ramifications and consequences in terms of your grades, and you might not pass, and you might have to spend even more time in school by having to redo your grade. And it's like the whole experience tends to be that of like victimization, and you're also rebellion towards having to do something you don't want to do, and that is not Destiny iProcess. Because no one's forcing anyone to come and do this course. No one's telling you do this or else. At some point you made the decision to firstly, be interested in the Destiny message, to be interested in the process and how you can change yourself with the tools from Destiny, what is involved in this whole process of changing yourself from consciousness to awareness. What is that about? Then at some point you made a decision to actually start applying those tools, to use them for yourself in your life, And then at some point you made the decision to, take this course and sign up for it. So what I suggest in terms of this resistance and this feel of homework and the resistance and everything that comes up, yes, of course, you can do your forgiveness and you can do, clear your memories and just take a moment first and foremost to just let go of the memories and don't superimpose the past on the present just because it looks similar, to assume that it's the same, and then allow your mind to tell you who to be and how to be and how to feel and how to work with this. So before you even start trying or attempting the assignment and like trying to force yourself and dragging yourself through it, just stop. Just don't even go there. First, just clear who you are now and look at it. Did I decide this to feel this way? Or is this just memory based? Is this my past that I'm re-experiencing? And you can walk your forgiveness. But as an additional point of support that I found has worked really well is to have a little post-it or something and write on there your reason why. Your reason why you decided to walk this. Your reason why you decided to walk this course. Why do you find these lessons interesting? Why do you actually want to do these assignments, even though sometimes you don't feel like it? But why, deep down, do you actually want to participate in this? So make it clear to yourself that this is something you're doing because this is important to you and something that you chose to do. So this is really for you. Whereas in school, none of that really applies. Most people don't choose to go to school. Most people don't find that much support in it per se, or experience support from it. So that's the first thing, to make that really clear to yourself, and reconnect again with your why, with your reason, with your starting point for walking your process and doing the course. Now, the reason why that's also important to shift who you are within walking your assignments, and therefore take a little moment just before you actually start to check and see, well, who am I right now? Am I clear? Am I ready to get into this? Am I going to engage with this? Or am I just resisting this and kind of just like, okay, fine, I'll do it, and go through the motions? The reason why is because if your starting point is that of, I'm just going to drag myself through this and push through this resistance, it's going to affect the way you're walking the assignment. And it's going to affect the extent it's going to support you. If you approach the whole assignment, once you're in a point of resistance, it's like what tends to happen is you separate yourself from the topic. Because it's like, again, also going back into how you worked with information in school, is just information on a piece of paper about something out there, or about math, which is like more abstract, or it's about grammar or whatever. But it's just a topic. It's not about you. So we tend to when you're in school, you're just like, okay, I'm here, sitting here, and there's information on a piece of paper, and I'll just process this, and I'll just read it, and I'll try to memorize it, or compute it, or, do something with it. But I'm here, and that information's over there, and there's nothing else much in between it. Whereas in DIP, when you write in your assignment, you're not writing an essay about some kind of world problem. You're writing yourself out on paper. So, and that's really, the purpose. That's really what it's all about. Is you taking that time to investigate yourself, to communicate with yourself, to understand yourself, to discover yourself, and then see what parts of that do you want to keep and what parts do you want to change. And if we start the whole experience with, I don't want to, and I'm resisting this, and I'm just going to drag myself through it, we tend to fall into the same pattern of going, okay, this is what I wrote down, there's words on the paper, and okay, I'm now going to do forgiveness on this, and okay, I'll just go through the motions. And as you go through it, it's like you just feel heavier and heavier and more bored, and you feel more resistance, and this whole exercise feels even more pointless. And why am I doing this? Okay, that's an accumulative effect that tends to take place when that starting point isn't clear. Because you're no longer like working with yourself and using the assignment as a tool to do that. You're now just separating yourself from this assignment altogether and working with the information as though it's got nothing to do with you. Like, you're just writing things down and going through the motions and doing the bare minimum usually. And that really defeats the whole purpose, because you don't actually get to honestly see yourself. You don't actually get to really dig and have that intimate exploration of who you are. You won't really get very far. You won't get that understanding. You won't get to the realizations. Your forgiveness won't be effective. Your self-commitment statements will be not really commitment statements, like you're right that you commit yourself, but you don't really, because you weren't even committed in the first place when you started this assignment. It's like, because your self-connection wasn't even there. So whatever you commit to is just words on a piece of paper. It's like, ugh. So this is a really biggie. Like, anyone who's walking the IP and who has any of these experiences that I've talked about and mentioned, really make this a point, because you can find amazing value in these lessons and walking these assignments, and then using your body as your buddy. Sorry, not your body, but also your body, but your buddy as an extra support within the whole course. But it really is going to depend on who you are within it, and to what extent you're going to use the lessons, the assignments that are there in a way that actually supports you, in a way that's going to bring out the best in you and allow you to walk this process as effectively as possible. Because if you try and go through the motions in the way that maybe in school you manage to do that, it's like you didn't really have to pay attention. You only kind of half had to try, and well, you still passed. You only had to get 50% after all, right? So you just had to pass. But none of that applies to your Destiny I process. You want to maximize every moment that you spend with yourself, every moment that you're investing into your self-relationship, because that goes into everything. It goes into your relationships, it goes into your career, it goes into your future, it goes into the people in your life. It always ripples out. So it's not just about that one moment in time and doing something because you have to. It's about how will you invest yourself, to what extent. So these are some points you can look at and some suggestions that you can try. So that firstly, starting with clearing yourself before you start your assignment, even before you decided to start your assignment. Seeing if there's any memories coming up, if there's any resistances, associations to school, homework, things like that. Then the writing of the post-it or a little note somewhere that you can put on your screen or on your wall, reminding you why it is you're doing this, so you can reconnect with your starting point. And then thirdly, when you're actually doing the assignment, make sure that you remember that it's you communicating with you, it's you connecting with yourself. The assignment's just a tool. Make sure that you're doing this for you and that you try and maximize what you can get out of it for your own benefit. All right, thank you for watching. Bye.